Okay, so good afternoon everyone. Alright, so yesterday we read student book page 48 and 49. We read about exploring paper. You also saw the experiment about the different types of paper and how they soak up the water and what is the paper which is best used to, best for you absorbing the water or absorbing the spill. Okay, so today we are going to do workbook. Alright, so you need to open your workbook, page 30, alright, 30, alright, page 30, page 30, alright, and write today's day and date. Today is the 14th of October, alright, so write the day and date, alright, in your workbook. In your workbook, write the day and date. Alright, now the first part is which type of paper absorbs water the fastest. Alright, use the table to record the data from your investigation. Draw a bar chart. Now, this is the table in your book. So you have to copy the table from your student book, page 49. Can you see page 49? Alright. Page 49, this we read yesterday. This is the table. This is the table. You need to copy it here. Okay? You need to copy it in your workbook. Now, you know how to do this, right? All of you? So, copy the table in your workbook. Before that, write the day and the date. Alright? Make sure you write the day and the date on the workbook page. Alright? Alright, now after you copy the table, you can pause the video and copy the table and then start back again, alright? You can pause the video and copy the table first, alright? Okay, continuing. Explain your findings. Now, when we tried to clean up the spill, what did we find out? So from the table you can see we found out that the kitchen roll was the best for absorbing the spills. So you can write down, we found that the kitchen towel or kitchen roll was the fastest to absorb the liquid. Alright? Alright, this is what we found out. Okay, this is number what you can write in the space at the bottom. Explain your findings. Over here, you can write down this. Alright, then now you go to the next page. Alright, go to the next page and write down the date again. Write down the date again on the next page. Now the test. Which type of paper absorbs water fastest? What we think, the kitchen roll should absorb water fastest. It is thick and wipes up spills in the kitchen. The book paper will be the worst. It is shiny and thin. Now I showed you the writing paper and the other paper is shiny. So it's not really very good in absorbing the spilled liquid. Okay. What we did, so we measured 20 ml of colored water into each beaker. We put a paper strip in the water and held it upright. We timed 1 minute with stopwatch and then lifted the paper out. We measured the distance the water traveled up the paper. How did we make it fair? We kept the size of the paper, the volume of the paper, and the time the paper was left in the water the same. So these are the three things we did to keep the experiment fair. Okay. So again we have the table with the different kinds of paper and how long or how far did they water travel up when it was soaked. Okay. Now conclusion, the best paper to absorb liquid fastest was the kitchen roll because it is thick. This is what we predicted. Now, how can the kitchen roll be tested more fairly? Alright, there are two ways in which we can test the kitchen roll more fairly because the kitchen roll is thick. Now, normally the kitchen roll has different layers, okay? It's quite thick, so the paper normally has different layers which are called plies, okay? The word is ply, okay? So what we can do is we can reduce the ply or reduce the thickness. So you can write down reduce the thickness, means the paper, the kitchen roll is thick. So you can reduce the thickness of the kitchen roll by reducing by matching it to the other paper types by splitting the ply. The ply. So the number one way is by reducing the ply, okay, by reducing the thickness by splitting the ply, okay. Now for example, this is your tissue roll, okay? This is your tissue roll. Look at the tissue roll. Now this is tissue. Now tissue normally has two plies. If you separate it, you will see you can see carefully there are two plies. You can split it up into two. Okay, so normally even the kitchen roll is split up into different plies. Okay, it's normally can be. If you look carefully, the tissue also can be separated into two. This is called a ply. In terms of paper, this is a ply, two ply. This tissue paper is two ply. So the same way you can reduce the thickness by splitting the ply, or also number two is we can experiment with different brands of kitchen rolls. To make it fair, okay? Because currently we use the super soak. But to make the test fair, we can also use different types of different brands of kitchen roll instead of super soak. Alright? So please copy this down. Alright? Please, this is on page 30. This is page 31. Okay, this is page 30 of workbook. This is page 31 workbook. Okay, workbook page. Alright, so these are the two answers that you need to copy in the workbook. Alright.